Chiefs trade for DeAndre Hopkins. It was the biggest story coming out of Kansas City. A 4th-round pick. I wrote it. I did write yesterday a summary of who some of the receivers we could get behind, but DeAndre Hopkins was out of my dreams. So I thought the Chiefs would typically, trade for Kadarius Toney or whatever. This guy's way better than Kadarius Toney, and got an A and an A minus, giving up a conditional 4th-round pick, which means if the player meets whatever the agreement they gave, then they'll get the 4th round, or if he doesn't, they'll get the 5th round. He's got to meet so many snaps in order for the Chiefs to give up a 4th round. It seems like more than likely they'll give up a 5th round, though. And Chiefs got an A and an A minus for the Titans. Of course, we saw Justin Watson go out for the season. Players they could pick would be cornerback Xavier Howard. Patrick Peterson is another option. L'Jarius Sneed would probably be a dream and a pipe dream that we probably don't have the money for. They could have Darius Slay as a trade candidate on the Eagles. Jonathan Jones also a candidate they could trade for. Giance Horn for the Panthers. Patrick Peterson as a free agent. I don't think they get to get Darius Slay because the Eagles still have a chance of being a playoff team, so I don't think the Eagles are willing to give that up. That's Sam Vaughan Sports.
At the moment, Johnson starts at the left corner spot with Trent McDuffie on the other side. Let's start with Jonathan Jones of the New England Patriots. Jones at 31 years of age, and this is a guy that's a very versatile football player. In this circumstance that the Chiefs are under here, they got to do some figuring out, right? What are they going to do to make this secondary room complete? Do they need to move some pieces around? Luckily, a guy like Jonathan Jones, he can play outside. He can play nickel. He can even play some safety. You can plug him in, and he'll find a way to adapt accordingly. Undrafted out of Auburn in 2016, signed by the Patriots, was a part of 2 Super Bowl titles with the New England Patriots, so he's got some championship DNA in him, and a lot of experience in his career. 122 games played with 64 career starts. And you go back to 2022, that was a very strong campaign for Jones, as he had 4 interceptions that season. And as much as we love Trent McDuffie, believe me, I love me some Trent McDuffie. He's one of the best corners in football. But Trent McDuffie is not the guy you're looking for to grab interceptions, right? You need somebody else to potentially do that, to be your ball hawk type, if you will. Jonathan Jones potentially could come in and be that playmaker, could be a good complementary option to Trent McDuffie in that sense. Should the Chiefs trade for Jonathan Jones? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know. Next up, we turn our attention to Greg Newsome II. He's a player we've talked about a decent amount here on this channel. The Browns are collapsing, and it's quite hilarious, to be honest. As Deshaun Watson struggled, they already moved on from Amari Cooper. It is a full-on fire sale in Cleveland. And you look at Greg Newsome II, this is a guy that's got a ton of potential. He's played at a high level already in the National Football League, primarily used as a nickel corner. He could be a natural fit for this Kansas City Chiefs defense. More on Newsome, a 2021 first-round pick out of Northwestern, was an all-rookie team selection that season. And although he's very young, he's got plenty of experience to his resume. 48 career games played with 42 starts in his very young career. He's been outstanding for the Cleveland Browns to this point. I like what I've seen from Greg Newsome II. And you think about this Kansas City Chiefs team, this defense that they've assembled, a guy like Greg Newsome, I think, has got some untapped potential. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs defense, this is a Chiefs defense that we've seen Spags really get the most out of, really pushes guys to the limit. And with McDuffie now on the outside, he could be kind of similar to what McDuffie used to be at the nickelback spot. I think he'd be a great fit. What do you guys think? If you had to pick one, would you rather trade for Jonathan Jones or would you rather trade for Greg Newsome II? Type JJ for Jonathan Jones. Up next, let's talk J.C. Horn, the corner from the Carolina Panthers. He is the same age as Greg Newsome II, just 24 years old. And this is a guy that is a freak athlete. This guy just jumps out of a gym. He turns heads, athletically speaking. And he comes from an incredible football pedigree. You may remember his dad, the former Saints wide receiver Joe Horn. And that's not all. His brother, Joe Horn Jr., also a National Football League player as well. A first-round pick out of South Carolina by the Panthers. He's played in 29 career games with 29 starts. And that Panthers team, just so awful, right? This is another one where, similar to what we talked about with Greg Newsome, where I feel like he really just has, some unleashed potential that the Chiefs could potentially find here with J.C. Horn here. You look at the numbers of what J.C. Horn has done in his career. His best season, you go back to 2022 when he had 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. So far this year, he's already matched that pass breakup total to what he did in 2022 with 7 pass breakups, 1 pick, 32 tackles, 2 TFLs. Very good football player, J.C. Horn. Of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Darius Slay Jr. at 33 years of age, lots of experience. He was on the Eagles Super Bowl team a few years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you look at these midseason trades of what goes on, these midseason trades, you're looking for guys that are ready to jump in right away. And this is somebody that I think could be built for this type of situation for Kansas City, of the hand they're dealt right now. You look at Slay's resume, was the NFL interceptions co-leader in 2017, and that was his best season as he was a first-team All-Pro that season. 6-time Pro Bowler. He is going to have a case to potentially be a Hall of Famer someday. Began his career with the Lions and then went to Philadelphia shortly there after that. And you look at his statistics of what Darius Slay has done. I mean, he's been very consistent. I think that, this Eagles team, they got some young talent, right? With Cooper DeJean and among others there. It's a crowded corner room, and I think they're potentially looking to move on from Slay, and this could be a natural fit for what the Kansas City Chiefs need right now with what he's shown he's able to do and still play at a high level despite being 33 years old. I got one more name that we'll talk about in a moment, but first, name a corner the Chiefs should add. Who comes to mind that you would like to see on this Kansas City Chiefs team? Weigh in, let us know who you think that is. Last on our list, the only free agent we're talking about today, that is Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, 34 years old, and this is somebody that is a future Hall of Famer in the National Football League. But the question becomes, how much does he have left? Because last year when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's just put it this way, things did not go great for Patrick Peterson last year. Was with the Steelers, was with the Vikings and the Cardinals before that, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, an 8-time Pro Bowler, part of the NFL's All-Decade team. Nobody on this list is going to have a better resume than what Patrick Peterson has done over the years. But is he too old? You look at these statistics, and you go back to 2022, just a couple of years ago, had 5 interceptions and 15 pass breakups. Last year, there was a lot of criticism for Patrick Peterson by how much he got beat in coverage, but he still managed to have 11 pass breakups and 2 interceptions there. So it's a possibility, and you could probably get him pretty cheap compared to some of the other players out there.
The NBA and Major League Baseball have a date of when the playoffs are going to be in football, honestly, but let's just play the theme of the Major League Baseball and the NBA. The NBA date for that championship game almost takes too long from that date of whichever, when the series ended on, it was Saturday, and they waited till 6 days between the World Series And that's just too much time. The NBA does the same thing. I think they should change it. But the other question is, how do you change it for fans that are wanting to go to the game? That's Sam Vaughan Smack and a little information on the World Series. Yankees-Dodgers World Series this week starts Friday.